Hola bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic Official. I'm Magic Mel, it's my angel Charles. Welcome to episode 9 of season 12. And 9 sounds to me like completion, feels to me like completion. You know what's crazy? I pulled these readings for you, I pulled you the new moon in Sagittarius and 12/12 portal reading. And I told you that at the end of the day, you are your own oracle. And as I said that in the reading and I reflected on that, I was like, damn, these readings are also for me. I was in the middle of having to make a decision. If you look back at that reading, it had to do with following your intuition, trusting your intuition, and opening yourself up to these new opportunities. Well, these opportunities arrived at my doorstep, and I had to tap into my intuition and check, okay, what is the next step forward? And it's all easy to tell you that, no? But I'm here to walk the talk. I gotta embody my own advice. I gotta take my own advice sometimes, damn it. So I was in the middle of this transition space of having to make a decision. And I don't like to linger in that space for long anymore. Unlike how I used to be. I used to go into overthinking, over-analyzing everything, not trusting my feelings, not checking in with my whole being at all, just being completely in the mind. It used to drive me insane, like seriously. So nowadays I give myself a time limit, also because when opportunities arrive, it's like a window, no? It's like a train. Train comes, opportunity, you can jump on it, you have this window frame, but if you don't jump, well, the train's gonna leave. So I know that by now. And I'm like, Magic Mel, I'm giving you 2-3 days to like check in with yourself, let it linger, let it percolate in your being, check the signs, journal, reflect on, because nothing comes out of the blue, no? Like reflect on what has come before, reflect on the context of this decision, and weigh it out, feel it out, and then make the decision. Because we're never gonna have 100% certainty. That's also the overthinking mind, no? That wants certainty. That's the ego. Like certainty means control. But hey, there's nothing in life we can really control, no? We can only respond to things and then, inshallah, just go with the flow and wait for the next moment to arrive to then check in again and make a new decision. Like nothing is set in stone. And again, it's all easy to say, it's always easy to give someone else advice, but then to apply it to yourself, to really live by it is another thing. So I'm like, I need to make this decision now. I could feel the fear. I could feel the doubt. Like thoughts like, are you being selfish? Are you just being grandiose? Are you ready for this? Maybe, like, are you ready? So I listen to the doubts. I listen to all of these thoughts, as you know, because I like to hold space for all of my voices, to not repress them anymore to the subconscious, but just like a democracy, ideally, listen to everyone and then check in with yourself, your soul, your intuition, this higher guidance that goes beyond just the mind. And I checked in with myself and like, okay, given where I am, given the context, given the signs, given how I'm feeling, I'm going to make this decision. And then we cut the anchors and sail into the new direction. That's another thing, no? I used to make a decision, but have kind of one foot in the door and one foot out. That doesn't work anymore. That's just split energy. When we make a decision literally comes from Latin to cut away, because we're always presented with infinite options, no? Or let's say at least 2 options. And how we choose defines us. And especially in this day and age, our choices matter. It's not anymore just what I speak. Yes, I tell you, the spoken word is powerful, absolutely. Computer went back to sleep. But it's then, okay, what do we do with that insight? Or what do I do with that thought? How do I align myself, my actions in the direction of this guidance? Because otherwise we're not moving, no? So what do we choose? And how do we allow our actions to reflect that choice? Are we aligning our choices, our actions with that new direction? So yes, it comes to do with this inner decision first, but as within, so without. So I gotta rearrange my actions and my outer life according to what I feel true in the inside. And that's how we create. That's manifestation, no? I mean, you know, we might think, ooh, ideally, what 5D consciousness, we just think about it and manifest. Yeah, it works sometimes. Smaller things, absolutely. But the joy of it is to really take part in our creation, to use our hands, to use our physical body, to get involved in our choices, no, in our manifestations. And it's not easy. It's a very lonely moment when you make these decisions. Even when you ask other people for advice or their input, the one who makes a decision at the end of the day is you, in your own internal world. So if you're in the middle of making decisions, like the readings reflected, of letting go what no longer serves you and choosing a new direction and aligning your action in that new direction, I feel you. And if you're doubting, if this new opportunity has arrived, this train of opportunity, and you're a little bit hesitant or you're in doubt, that's okay. But ask yourself some questions. Like, why am I doubting myself? I came back to the affirmation of, I am worthy. I'm worthy of this opportunity. I've got what it takes. I don't have to have it all figured out right now, but if I take this step, I trust that the next steps will be revealed, and that even if I don't have the tools, all of the tools in this moment, they will be given to me. I will learn them. I trust myself. So that's where trusting yourself is so important. And aligning yourself with this worthiness. Because how many opportunities have we allowed to slip by because we didn't feel worthy or because we didn't feel ready? Are we ever really ready? 100%? We're never going to be ready for anything. But that shouldn't stop us from going in the direction of our expansion. And if in doubt, it's also very important for you to check in with yourself again of the why. What is the bigger why you're doing things? I started Mel's Magic Official to share my message. And in the beginning, it was a little bit awkward. If you rewind to 2 years ago, first few videos of Mel's Magic Official, I was a different person. I had to push myself to talk. But every time I was hesitant or doubted, I kept on reminding myself, remember the why you're doing this. It's bigger than just you. I got to get out of my own way, out of my own self-doubt, out of my own insecurities, because the bigger why is more important. And the same goes with this new direction I'm taking, which is not even a new direction. It literally makes sense. It's an expansion. Remember I spoke to you about it's time to get out of your one ring circus? Look back in 3 episodes. The cards literally said, time to get out of your one ring circus, time to collaborate with people, time to share yourself with other people. who resonate with you, who want to work with you, want to play with you, thrive with you. That happened to me. It's crazy. So I told myself, well, you know, isn't this what you wanted? Claim your worthiness. Do it. Because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to pat you on the back. Nobody's going to cheer you on. I mean, of course, ideally, we have a group of people around us who support us in our endeavors. But everyone's got their own life, no? So to be your own cheerleader when everyone's away, when you're just alone is vital. You got to choose you at every step of the way. It's about saying, I am worthy every time. I love myself enough to claim this. Even if I'm still scared, even if I still have doubt, even if I feel I'm not ready, all of that can come with you. But it shouldn't stop you. And how can you tell if it's the right direction? That's a very personal thing. But in my experience, it does feel exciting. It feels like, okay, maybe, I'm stepping in this new arena, but it feels exhilarating. So the anxiety or the doubt or the fear can be transmuted. The exalted version of that is excitement as you step out of your comfort zone. So don't judge yourself or think there's anything wrong if you feel that nervousness. That's okay. Actually, all of the emotions are okay, and that's another thing I want to talk about. The shedding is ongoing. Old patterns coming up for us to review and to release, our own old ego stories resurfacing through our interaction with our loved ones, our family members, those closest to us, who know how to pull our triggers, because that's exactly what we need to integrate here through them. They are our teachers. I had to, through support from other fellow coaches, remind myself that everything is allowed, that holding space for all emotions is the way to go. Because I was in a mode of, I felt this pain, grief coming up, and I wanted to immediately fix it or get rid of it. But I got reminded, thanks to my support network, that how about just making space for that emotion, not pushing it away, not doing anything with it, just holding space for it. And as I did that, the feeling itself transmuted without having to force, push, reject, fix anything. So just like I tell you that making space for all of your voices is a self-loving thing, making space for all of your emotions is a self-loving thing. And I know it's difficult. I know the instinct is to try and get rid of it, try and fix it or reject it because it's painful or discomforting. But if we just allow it to be there, just accept it, allow it to be there, it will transmute and release itself. But we gotta hold space for that. Self-love is a verb, no? It's constant practice, constant action. How do our choices and our actions reflect our own self-love? That's a good one to ask. So let me know how you've been presented with opportunities this week that challenged your sense of worthiness. Or if old patterns were triggered, how did you deal with them? How did you react or respond to the familiar grief, the familiar pain, the familiar anger that was part of that old story. Well, how did you engage with that? Let me know. We long for certainty, but releasing control and anchoring ourselves with this inner knowing, with the trust in ourselves, is the security that we're looking for. Because trying to control and grasp and coerce the external world doesn't work. It's like sand slipping through our fingers. Life is this moving hologram, no? And we are the ninja playing with it. Reminding ourselves that we're bigger than this is also useful. Because the small self, the ego self, freaks out, no? Freak out! It's the higher self like, yo, it's all part of the plan. Relax, trust me, go with the flow. Yeah, easier said than done. But to have that connection with your spiritual guidance is vital, because otherwise I don't even know how, well, I do know how how I functioned in the past, that it was not fun. It's just more grounding, and to remind ourselves that, hey, everything's serious, but it's not that serious. You know what I mean? Like, to laugh about things also, and not go too strict into tunnel vision, also makes things easier. Bigger picture. Nothing is that serious. Just remember to play. Follow the excitement. Remember to have fun. Go with the energy, or surround yourself with, or go towards the energy that is conducive to that kind of, well, at least I like that, fun vibe, light-hearted vibe. Yes, dedicated and devoted and committed, but not forgetting that there's a playfulness to it too, in this new way of doing things. We're not struggling. It's not supposed to be this coercive struggle, hard work anymore. We're not these martyrs anymore that we used to be. We're not going to get a medal anymore for struggling. And this playful way of going about things, yeah, it feels unfamiliar, but the more we accept it and allow it and play with it, well, the more fun it gets. And the more magical it gets. So this is a bit of a debriefing of this week. Well, we still got tomorrow. Join me on my Patreon, remember? I'm pulling an extra specific Friday energy read for my Patreon supporters, where you support me directly, Mel's Magic Official. So for you here on YouTube, this is a debriefing session, because I'm telling you, I was like, wait a minute, these readings I pulled the last few times, they're like my oracle speaking to me directly. So I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you how moi, Magic Mel, I go about things. Because yeah, life is not a dress rehearsal, and this is the real deal. I'm sharing with you my own evolution, how I go about things step by step with each episode, with each new chapter of my unfolding. And on this note, let's pull a divine feminine card for you. Vamos allá. I'm connecting with your Asgard team, and specifically the divine feminine frequencies who we're inviting to come and help us, so we rise together and balance out the energies together. Who of you would like to connect? Vamos allá. Thank you so much. I'm in my more like comfy outfit here. I didn't even know if I was going to pull a reading, but I'm like, you know what? Let's share what's on my mind. Charles was like, go, vamos, do it. Wow. Wish you could see that, but the card landed in front of me on the desk. Alors, Marguerite Porrette. The mystic of divine love. Love is divine, and I am nothing except love. So sure, I mean, we can read it and nod and say, yeah, but what does it really mean? Like, what does love, the word love, even mean? I mean, that can write a whole thesis on this, no? Teal Swan inspired me to ask myself a question that's very useful when in doubt, when faced with an intersection or different options. And the question is, what would somebody who loved themselves do? So, if I love myself, what would I choose? Which road would I choose? Because love is not this Hollywood, over romanticized notion. No. Love has to do with self worth, with self honoring, with seeing the divine in you. You are an expression of the divine, you are a spark of the divine. I mean, the divine is in everything. But as a human being, you are the interface of the divine to create through you at the leading edge. That's where we are. So, as a divine being, how are you treating yourself? How are you aligning your actions with your values? Let's read what the booklet has to say, because there's always a nice little historical anecdote to it. I've never had this one also. Marguerite Porret. Vamos allá. The mystic of divine love. Love is divine and I am nothing except love. Marguerite Porret is the essence of divine love and the truth that all we are is love. She was a French Beguine born in the mid-13th century. The Beguine movement was a spiritual revival among women in the late Middle Ages that emphasized an imitation of Christ's life. These Beguines, or holy women, lived together in a semi-monastic community. They were not nuns, they didn't take formal vows and could leave at any point, but they lived with shared spiritual intention. Marguerite wrote a spiritual masterpiece titled The Mirror of Simple Souls. It reveals the spiritual process she went through to be transformed by divine love. I am God, says love, for love is God and God is love. And this soul is God by the condition of love. By 1306, the Bishop of Cambrai deemed her work heretical and condemned it to be burned in Porret's presence. Even so, it continued to circulate widely throughout the Middle Ages. And in some ecclesiastical centers, it was embraced as an almost canonical piece of theology. Porret was ordered to stop circulating her book and to recant her ideas of God as love, but she refused. Marguerite was arrested as a relapsed heretic and a free spirit, which included the belief that humans could achieve union with the divine. The Catholic Church conducted an unprecedented trial to decide her fate. And like Joan of Arc, much of her life is recorded because of the transcripts of her lengthy trial. She maintained her truth that the soul has no other will but God's, and that when the soul is united with God's love, this state of union causes the soul to transcend to the contradictions of this world. She suggests that we can be transformed by divine love into love itself, which isn't separate from God, and that ultimately no outside source is needed in this transformation. It's between the soul and God alone. It's between you and God alone. Marguerite was burned at the stake in 1310. The Mirror of Simple Souls continued to gain in popularity, but was distributed as an anonymous text until 1946, when Romana Guarnieri identified Latin manuscripts of the mirror in the Vatican. Marguerite's name returned to the text when it was published for the first time in 1965. when your soul selects this card. Are you still with me? There's nothing more powerful than remembering that we are love. And there's nothing and no one outside of us that is needed in order to realize this. It's between our experience of the divine, and our own soul. We can let go of what we think we need to prove or who we think we need to be in order to receive love, because we remember that we are love. Then we can stand in that truth, even through flames. Marguerite is a courageous truth teller, and the truth of her experience is that love alone can free us, the divine love. Not the love another might give us, not the love of family or friends. All of this is powerful and significant, but the true source of love for us is in the fact that we are a soul and that the soul is in union with the divine. She reminds us when we've forgotten that love is the essence of who we are and that true love is found within. Marguerite says, "Love has no beginning, no end, and no limit, and I am nothing except love." This is a time to own and to know this truth more fully. It is the most profound and radical act we can ever take, knowing the love we already are. Being connected with this love, your soul, and hence the divine love, gives you the strength to push through your own doubt, the doubt that you receive through others, through maybe even your family members. It's difficult, but that connection, that love will sustain you and will guide you. You might feel alone, but I promise you, it's been my experience here, you will get signs and you will be guided. You are guided. But it doesn't work without the trust and without the faith. We walk in faith. And the path is being revealed as we walk. So courage, take courage, stay connected with your heart, with your bigger vision, and allow yourself to be guided. And even when the destination is maybe blurry, you hold the vision, and as you take the step, the next step is revealed. It's an act of faith and of courage at each step of the way. So act in faith and know that you're worthy. Have compassion for yourself and patience, especially when you are facing difficult emotions, triggers from the past. Love yourself through it. Even if you relapse, love yourself through it. Take that step into the direction of your expansion. Va? We're doing this together. I've got your back. Charles got your back. And I know you've got your own too. Va? Bandidos, stay tuned for next episode. Come join our pride. Yes, our pride tribe on Patreon. And remember, if you want a private reading, contact me. It's a nice Christmas gift. Also, if you want any coaching, Magic Mel is your joy coach. Details in the description box below. Message me, email me if you have any questions. I don't bite. Vamos? Okay. And I appreciate you. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. All of that jazz. I'll see you for next episode. Bye. Ciao, bandidos.